so you are looking at this. This is what we're doing first. Yes. Just hang on to it. I'll collect them all, like whoever has their sign, I'll collect them when we're done. Alright, we are not going to go through this whole thing today, but we are going to go through a couple of the pages. Now, if you have a highlighter, I would definitely get that out. If you do not have a highlighter, or you have a marker, crayon, color pencil, you can use that as well. If you don't have any of those, then you can just get a pencil out and use that. Alright, so at this point there's a little bit too much chitter chatter during transitions, so therefore if I ask you to do something, just do it quietly and so that we can move on. Alright, so like I said, we're not going to go through every single page today. We're going to break this up over the next 4 days. But this is your student handbook. So, on the first page, who to ask. Well, these are all of our programs, excuse me, that we have going on, but Ms. Casey and Ms. Chadwick are our, I'm sorry, these are not our close. These are the principal and the assistant principal. Obviously, you guys saw Miss Casey. She was in the black dress yesterday when we were taking our tour. And then Miss Chadwick is the woman with the long blonde hair. I think she has her blue dress on today. I'm sure we'll see her. She was in the cafeteria yesterday as well, I think when we were going in or out. I don't know. But these are all the things that they are in charge of. So if you ever have a question, you can call, or your parents can call and ask, you know, for Miss Casey if you have a question about that, or Miss Chadwick if you have a question about those. All right, let's go ahead and turn the page. All right, so you have Miss White. She is our guidance counselor that is primarily at our school. She doesn't leave. We don't share her with any other school. And again, these are all the things that she's involved in. Post is a really cool thing because it's essentially like one person from each class gets picked, and like when a new student comes in, you're kind of there to help them, show them how to use their schedule, guide them around the school. There were also the older students at open house that were, you know, leading some parents down to different hallways and different teachers and whatnot. So it's a really cool program, and it's really nice for, you know, sixth graders to kind of get their feet wet with something that they might want to do and not want to necessarily do sports or be committed to a lot of after school stuff. Ms. Nasser is our military liaison counselor, so if you're military connected, she might be one that you talk to rather than Ms. White. Ms. Starks is our data manager. She is the one who does schedules. If you have any questions about anything pertaining to your schedule or anything like that, she's the one that you need to talk to. Ms. Brody is our media specialist, or our tech person. When we get iPads, if there's something I can't fix or I don't know how to fix, then I'll be sending it to Ms. Brody. Miss Charlene, because I have no idea how to say her last name, I'm gonna be honest with you. She's our bookkeeper. She doesn't really necessarily have a lot to do with you guys. That's more for us as teachers. Miss Vicky, we met her yesterday. She was the woman that was in the front office. If you need anything, Miss Vicky's the woman to go to. And then Officer Coffee. Did you guys meet him yesterday? Did he come to your classroom yesterday during the second period?
Yeah, I saw him at lunch.
Okay, so he's our SRO. So he's the guy who was at lunch with us. If there is anything that you need to talk to him about, he's a really good person to talk to. He is very understanding, and it just might be easier talking to him than one of your teachers. I mean, that's completely up to you. Another page. Alright, so here's where the fun stuff starts. This is your table of contents and all the good jazz that goes with it. So if I'm ever like, oh, remember when we talked about in the handbook? And you're like, no, I was like, oh, we'll go to transportation. Can't talk. Go to transportation, it's on this page, blah, blah, blah. Alright. We're not gonna read that. Alright, so the protocol for services, it says parents and students are required to direct questions or concerns to the appropriate department or staff members assigned to the issue or concern in question. This will be determined by the front office staff and your call will be forwarded to the appropriate department. So if your parents have a question, but they're not real sure who to call, then just have them call, tell Ms. Vicky the situation that's going on, or whatever their question is, and she knows where she's gonna forward you to. The vision statement for Tucker Creek is that Tucker Creek Middle School, together with families and community stakeholders, will challenge all students as learners and prepare them to imagine and create a successful life. We will strive to provide a nurturing and safe environment while inspiring and empowering other students to meet the challenges of an ever-changing world. We will be creating our own mission statement in class. Okay, so that's the vision, this is the mission. Like, this is what we are trying to do each year with the students who come into this building. Together with our family and community, Tucker Creek will educate all learners through personal, professional, and civic success through challenging and personalized instruction. So we will come up with something that has to do with the EOG and being proficient. Not today, it'll be either Thursday or Friday. Alright, our daily schedule, if you didn't know it already, now you have a copy of it. So if I were you, I'd either take your brand marker, color pencil, whatever you're using, and just highlight the box around 6th grade. Alright, that way you know where you're going. And core 1 is the same as first period. Okay? Alright, any questions about this page? No, we're good? We're good? Alright, let's slide over to student safety. Alright, so, physical and emotional safety is our first concern at Tucker Creek. So A, physical safety. Student supervision and drop-off pickup. So students are not allowed to be dropped off or arrive on campus before 7:45. And, no one will be there to supervise you guys, so that's the main reason. We don't have anybody to try and come on campus and pick you up, and it's just not safe. Okay? There's a 5-mile-per-hour speed limit in the carpool circle. Emergency contact and student supervision. So adults not listed on the emergency contact will not be allowed to access students while at Tucker Creek. Please make sure you update, or make sure that your parents update their parent information so that we know, and we can get that to Ms. Starks. Safety and supervision are our primary concerns. Dismissals at 3:30. Students must be picked up on time because they are not allowed to remain on campus without supervision. Alright, wildlife. This one makes me giggle a little bit, as it's kind of crazy that we have to talk about wildlife in our handbook. But we have had a few creatures be around Tucker Creek. So the environment that surrounds our campus supports wildlife that could potentially cause harm towards the community if appropriate precautions are not followed. Tucker Creek will take necessary safety precautions before, during, and after the school day when informed of the wildlife in the area. So we've had a bear, we've had an alligator. I think we've had 2 bears actually. So 2 bears and an alligator, so that like to, just venture around Tucker Creek. So if that happens, and you are a walker, you will not be able to walk home. We'll have to bus you to your house, just because it's not safe. So, and you guys are still in our protection, so that's why we would have to do that. Yes, sir?
How big was the alligator?
I don't know. I didn't go see it. I ain't trying to get bit.
I don't know.
I'm from Florida.
I want to go see that.
I know about alligators.
I've always wanted to go.
Alright, let's stay on track. Alright, attendance. So this is important, and I need you guys to listen because this does affect you. All students are required to be in attendance every day. North Carolina has a general statute that deals with the issue of school attendance. I'm not going to read the statute. Attendance is a critical part of student academic success. To be considered present, a student must be in school or any place other than school with approval of a school administrator for the purpose of attending an authorized school function. This part's important. So absences, tardies, and early dismissals exceeding the permitted number will be considered when making promotion decisions. Students must be in class for half of the school day to be counted present. So this is important because if you show up late, a lot of times, and it's unexcused, that does not mean that the bus is late or, you know, you have a doctor's appointment, you just overslept, or your parents didn't get up to bring you, or whatever. If you get too many of those, it can be taken into consideration for promotion, as in going to 7th grade. Same thing with absences, same things with early checkouts and late check-ins. Okay, so just be mindful, like, if you don't like school and you're always trying to find a reason to stay home, might not be a good time, might be a really good time to start changing that habit and, you know, really trying to do your best to be in school every day. If a student is absent from school, they are not permitted to attend any extracurricular activities. That's including dances, athletic, concerts, and awards assemblies. So we have a dance coming up on the 30th of September. If you decide, I don't really feel like going to school today, don't come to the dance, because we're not gonna let you in. Okay? If you can't come to school, you shouldn't be able to come to a dance, right? Maybe if you're sick for school, you magically get better by 3:30 and, oh look, I can go there and snap, pop, walk, whatever y'all do, craziness, I don't even know. Nope, not gonna happen, all right? Same thing if you play a sport. Like, let's say you guys play, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Alright, so let's say you play a sport. How many of you guys are gonna be trying out for some kind of sport this year? Okay, so let's say that you were tired from the night before and you decided, I'm just gonna skip today, but I have practice, or I have a game the next day. You don't come to school, you can't go to practice, you can't go to the game. Okay, so just, again, be mindful, making those decisions of, I'm not gonna go to school, I can't do anything else.
Miss Stevie, please call the front office. Miss Stevie, please call the front office.
Alright, and then a note, perfect attendance means a student is in the classroom 100% of the school year. Alright, so this chart is just kind of telling you that if you miss one day every 2 weeks, that equals 20 days per year, which is 4 weeks per year. Over 13 years is nearly a year and a half of education. Okay, so, and it's just kind of like going down. If you miss 3 days per week, that's 120 days per year, that's 24 weeks per year, that's nearly 8 years of your education. So, just something to think about. And then this is also important too, because it's like, well, I was only 10 minutes late. I was only 10 minutes late. I only slept in, you know, an extra 15 minutes. So if you miss 10 minutes per day, that's 15 minutes per week, that's nearly a week and a half per year, that's nearly half a year. So think about that, okay? And then obviously, 1 hour per day is 1 day per week, which is 8 weeks per year, which is over 2.5 years. So, just things to think about. You don't think that it's a big deal, but it actually adds up a lot more. All right, this is the last page that we're gonna read about today. Yeah, because we don't have too many pages. So down here, this is a note to, for parents or doctors. So written note email is required within 3 days of a student's absence. Written notes / emails must include the student's name, the date, the reason for the absence, and have the parent's signature. Provided the school receives a note email from the parent or guardian within 3 days of absence, the following lawful absence may be classified as excused illness or injury, quarantine, death in the immediate family, medical or dental, so on and so forth. A doctor's note will be required for extended absences due to illness. We encourage appointments to be after school whenever possible in order to preserve valuable instructional time. So, if you are absent and you have a doctor's note or you have a note from your parent, do not give it to me. You're gonna come out and you're gonna be like, Skinny, here's my note, and I'm gonna say, go to the front office. Okay, I don't want any responsibility of that because I lose my everything, so I don't want to lose your note as well. So if you come in with the doctor's note, no problem, just say, hey, I have the doctor's note, and I'm gonna tell you, all right, cool, go to the front office, turn it out there. Okay, so that's how that will work. So you might just wanna highlight this, just so you guys know. Any absence other than those listed above will be classified as unexcused. However, written note, email is still required. If there is a reason your child did not attend for an extended period of time, please notify the administration or school counselor immediately. Arrangements can be made in regards to assignments missed during extended absences, and all notes should be turned to the secretary of the front office when returning to the building. All right. This last one, so I'm gonna do, if you bring me your note. Alright, so this is where we're stopping for today, because let's be real, I don't like to read, so that's enough for me. I've read my quota for the week. Excuse me. Now, if you have this sheet, please give it to one person at your table, and that one person, you guys are gonna turn it into the first period bin back there. Does not require you to talk. That is your first warning. Do not get the whole class that much should you feel the need to tutor that. Do I need to warn you again? Alright, you may go ahead and put your student handbook away. Go ahead and get out your math notebook. You're going to need some glue and you're going to need a pencil. First period. Turn it into the first period bin back there underneath where it says turn in station.
Are we getting this?
Huh?
Are we getting this?
Okay. All right, moving on. Your parents are going to have homework tonight. So you're going to want to listen to this. Okay? Their homework is due by Friday. So they have 4 days? 4 days?
4 days.
All right, what they are to do is everybody's going to get this half sheet of paper, and it's essentially letting them know that they have homework, and it's 1,000,000 words or less to tell me about your child. Please tell me everything or anything that you feel I need to know to better help and understand your child. This is the pathway to success for all of us, your child, you as a parent, and me as their teacher. I want to help your child have the best year yet. They can send it to me in an email. They can handwrite it. They can attach it to a file on Vermont. That is long, sorry. So when you get this, please change this to Friday, September 2nd. That is my fault. And that way I have the weekend to look over them, kind of get an idea, share them with Ms. Vandeslant as well as with Ms. Sandoval. Okay? Any questions about your parents' homework? Yes.
Wait, are you?
What if they end up not having time because they have 4 kids to take care of?
I have a child and 2 jobs. So, my favorite excuse in the world is I don't have time. If I have time to show up to work every day prepared, everybody else has time to do their homework. That's my thing. I mean, it doesn't have to be 1,000,000 words. It's just, that's what the activity is called. They can just write me a 4 things sentence saying my child's amazing, you don't have to worry about it.
Oh,
I mean, it says a million words, but it's just because, I don't wanna say 100 words, because then it's just, don't overthink it, because of the words. Yes, sir. Whoever, I just need a guardian. Please make sure you cross out that date, like, because I totally made a mistake. See? Good.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Don't call it
This is what we're not doing. Don't do that. No. If you have to doodle on a separate sheet of paper. Alright, so this needs to go to your parents. Go ahead. You can put it somewhere that you're not going to lose it. Then get out your math notebook. Did everybody get the date change?
Yes.
Not yet? Okay, sorry. Hey, boys, do I need to separate you? Alright, so get out the notebook you are choosing to use for math. This is one thing that you must bring to school every single day. Because every single day in math, we are going to be doing something using our math notebook. Alright, I've heard enough conversation. The next time I have to tell you guys to stop talking, the entire class will have silent lunch if that's what we have to do in secondary school. I don't understand what you don't understand about, please do not talk. Alright, now, remember how I told you guys yesterday, if I'm doing something, you're doing something in your notebook, correct?
Yes.
So we are going to set up our notebook and we're going to sign our math notebook pledge. Which is a half sheet of paper. You're going to be gluing this in on the page that I tell you to glue it in on. Before we get to this, because I don't want anybody to be confused or not paying attention, in your notebook, you're going to open it up. You have your page, your cover page. This very first page for right now, you're going to put your name's math notebook. So I'm going to put Miss Penny's math notebook. You guys will have time later, if there is time, to add drawings to this page, color this page, whatever you want to do. Alright, but for now, we're just going to do that and move on. But please make sure that you put your name there so that when I go to grade your math notebooks, I know who I'm looking at. Alright, and the way we're going to kind of know to not move too fast or moving too slow, when you're done with something I told you to do, you're just giving me a thumbs up. Okay? And that way that lets me know that I'm good to go. Alright, go ahead and turn the page. So now you're looking at a blank left page with lines on it and a blank right page. The top of this blank left page, you're going to write table of contents. And then you're going to skip one line and start right next to this red line right here. You're going to write title. And you're going to go just a little underline. And then on that same line across, you're going to write page. And then parentheses and S. Because sometimes there might only be one page. Sometimes there might be more than 3 pages. Just depends. This is where most of my students lose points in their notebook check. your table of contents must be up to date. Okay, if you only write today and tomorrow and the next day, because that's what I did with you, and you don't keep up with it, it is, you get 24 points. So that's, drops you down to an 80, even if everything else in your notebook is perfect. The table of contents is your responsibility, because very quickly our numbers are going to get off. Because again, you guys are gonna be using more pages because you're gonna be doing work in here. I'm not gonna be doing the work in there. Does that make sense? So that's why my table of contents will be different from your table of contents after a couple of days. Alright, so this is one page of your table of contents. Everyone take your hands and just move them off of your desk, because I need you to pay attention to this next part. So you are going to pick up, everyone's eyes should be up here as well. You're gonna pick up 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages. So technically you should have, you're not doing this right now, you're just watching. You should have 5 pages. Fold those down, those are all table of contents pages you were not writing on them. Okay, so do that, give me a thumbs up. If you need help, raise your hand. And then once you get to that 5th page and you are 100% comfortable and you think you've done it right, go ahead and write math notebook, pledge, and then today's date. And then give me a thumbs up. Okay, so everybody should have this done. Go ahead and take your math notebook pledge and we're gonna read it together. Alright, so this is your math notebook. So I do want it to be personalized to you, but we are going to be putting the stuff in your notebook that you're gonna need to survive this year in math. So it says, mathematicians use notebooks to record data, make drawings, ask questions, and much more. So we're going to be doing all of that this year in this notebook. Your notebook is a mathematical tool that will represent you and your experiences in mathematics this year. You need to make sure that you bring it to class every single day. If you come to school and you do not have your math notebook, I'm going to be like, please call home. If nobody can bring it, we're going to borrow some paper. We're gonna still keep it moving for that day so that you don't fall behind. And I'll just show you how to glue in the loose leaf papers into your notebooks, okay? But that is going to be your responsibility to bring this every single day. Just like if you had a textbook, that you would bring a textbook every day, right? Well, this is your textbook. You are building the textbook, you're putting in what you need, not necessarily all the stuff that you don't need. If you're absent, make sure you complete any pages in the notebook that you missed. Again, on Canvas, I will show you, like, I take pictures of my notebook every single day and I post them on Canvas. That goes with the video. So if you're absent, you can still follow along, looking at the pages, saying, okay, this is what we're gonna need. You can fast forward through it, you can go back through it. That's why I record my lessons, so that you guys have the access that you need to it if you're absent or you need to review stuff. Okay? All right. All notebook activities. must follow some rules to make them interesting as well as informative. So the rules and the reasons, because I ask questions. I want to know why I got to do what I got to do, right? I mean, it's very, as long as you're respectful, it's a very good trait to say, well, why do I have to do that? What's the point of this? Well, I wanted to give you the reasons and the whys. So write as neatly and legibly as possible. Again, we can't control how messy our handwriting is, but as long as you're trying to keep it neat. At the end of the day, who has to use this notebook, me or you? You guys do, right? So if you can't read your own handwriting, it's not my fault. Not my problem, right? I don't have to study in this notebook. I don't have to take a quiz. And the reason that you need to be neat is to be able to go back and read past examples and activities. Creating a table of contents, numbering the pages, and title and date each page. Why do we do that? For organization. Yep. And this is also a skill that you're going to need as you go into high school and if you do decide to go into college. Okay? So being very organized and structured and like knowing where everything is. You'll notice every single day we're going to title and we're going to date. Every single day. Copy everything that Miss Kenny writes. I am not going to write something that you don't need. Right? I'm not going to draw a picture of a tree and be like, oh, put that in your notebook today. And you're going to be like, why? Because I said so? No. Like, I'm not going to do any more work than I need you guys to do. And I do this 3 times a day because I do it for every single class. Okay, so if I can do it 3 times a day, you guys can do it once, right? All right, and then you may use colors for notes. So that means you can use, I prefer markers or colored pencils, but if you have crayons, that's fine. But all of your math must be done in pencil. We talked about that yesterday. And the reason is colors are great, but using a pencil for all your work lets you erase any mistakes. Okay? So any questions about your math notebook pledge? All right, so by signing this, you're agreeing to do your very best to follow these guidelines. That make sense? All right, so down here, I'm gonna put my name, but it says I blank will do my best to abide by the rules. So you're gonna put your first and last name there. All right, once you have signed the bottom of that, you are going to glue this in on your math notebook page. And this is the very first thing that you are adding to your notebook. All right, once you glue that in, I need you to number your pages 1 to 50. So you'll notice there's a 1 up here in this left corner. Then you're gonna go 2 in the right corner, and you're gonna go back and forth until you get to 50.
Are we allowed to put it in the bottom corner?
No, because we're gonna be gluing stuff down in the bottom corners, so I don't want you to forget what page or whatever. Alright, and then when you're done numbering your pages to 50, I would go back into your table of contents, and I would add your first entry, which is your math notebook pledge. When you are finished with all of that, you may put your math notebook away. We are done with that for today. And we're gonna move into our next activity. Is there anybody who did not get a student handbook yesterday? Alright, give me a thumbs up when you are done. Alright, so at this point, I need just the paper that I passed out and put face down on the table, and you guys to have a pencil. Everything else, take off your desk. So you go ahead and put your math notebooks in your book bag. You're not gonna need them for the rest of today. Alright, so this week we're doing a week of inspiration. And like I said, yesterday we didn't get to the activity that I wanted to, but it's okay. It's not like it leads into the next one. It's just different activities. To teach you guys essentially how to work together in groups. So that's why I also wanted you guys sitting with different people. So if you're sitting with the same people from yesterday, you need to move. And I don't wanna have to encourage people to move. I need you just to get up and move. Thank you. Okay, alright, so I'm going to show you just kind of what Canvas looks like, just so you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about when I say Canvas. But this is essentially where you go. It's labeled each day of what we're doing, how we're doing, stuff that you need that's going to be linked. So today, whenever the handbook, we set up our notebook, we did not do the what I wish my teacher would know. We'll do that tomorrow. And then we did our math notebook pledge. So we are now down here, and we're gonna watch a quick, I think it's like 2-minute video, and then we're gonna do this activity, which is the visual or the number visuals. All right, and that is what the paper is that is on your table. So leave that down for now.
Another interesting new finding from brain science that's super important for math learning is that brain crossing, going across brain pathways, makes us learn math most powerfully. So what is brain crossing? We know that some brain pathways light up when we think about symbols such as numbers. Other brain pathways light up when we visualize, draw, or estimate with numbers. And visualizing and drawing and estimating are all really important to math. New research tells us that when we're doing both together, when we're both thinking about numbers as symbols and we're visualizing and drawing the numbers, we're using pathways that connect across the brain. And that brain crossing, drawing and visualizing and using symbols together in math, is the most powerful math learning.
Your notebook should be
You
put
can
away.
see some examples
They're
here
not.
of brain crossing examples. When we think visually about numbers and about fractions and algebra, we'll be getting you to do this brain crossing in this week of inspirational math. So you'll be doing lots of math examples that ask you to draw and see math and numbers, which will be important to your learning.
Okay, so everybody has everybody has this sheet that I just passed out to you. So as a group, you are going to look at this sheet before I give you your questions that you're going to be answering. I didn't say flip it over yet. Leave it face down. You're going to be looking at the sheet to find patterns, to find anything that has to do with numbers. Okay? Then, after about 5 minutes of conversation and looking, and you guys can write on this sheet, you can put numbers on the sheet, you can circle, you can do whatever you need, excuse me, whatever you need to do to mark up this page. All right, after 5 minutes, you're then gonna get 3 questions, and you're doing these questions independently. And then after you're done with these independent questions, you're gonna come back together as a group and share what you wrote for your answers. Okay? Yes, sir.
I'm confused on what are we doing for the 5 minutes? Like,
You're just looking at how many circles are here? One. That's a conversation. How many circles are down here? A whole lot. So you're just looking and you're comparing and you're looking at how they're grouped. You're looking at how they're not grouped. You're looking at if they increase, if they decrease, what's going on as you're moving from left to right on this page. Okay? So you're just kind of looking at these groups and having a conversation with your group members. Okay, if we need a little bit longer, I'll give you longer. If you need, we won't give you any less time, but if you need longer, we can always add a few more minutes to the conversation. Okay, so for the next 5 minutes, you're talking, you're marking, you're grouping, whatever you're doing. So flip this paper over and get started.
This is definitely the Charles Schwarzenegger medal. They are.
What do you mean by that? So what else do you scored? Five and like what else have you used for your
No, they just go back to
elementary school? Area perimeter. Could you use this as like additions? Helps you, it's essentially like,
There's literally, I can see like different types of ways groups of two.
so could you multiply the six by the, so you're saying 7 by 5, so you can multiply the 6 by the 4 and get 24? Or would that one be? So this one? So that would be. Okay. So that one doesn't.
This is easy.
Okay, but there's other kind of, look at this. Is there anything else that's like, okay, we're getting off track.
And they go to different houses. And it's like
Do you guys find any patterns? What patterns? So like, does this one go with this one, or does this one go with this one? So then there's nothing that goes with the one, so there's nothing that goes with this one circle? So you're telling me that this pattern isn't making this shape? This is a group of 2 in Technicolor and Marker Pencil. So those are all groups of 2. So is there a pattern that way? Like there's 3. Is that anywhere on here? Okay. Alright, do you guys want some more time? Yes! See, and y'all looking at me like I was crazy, like it was going to be too hard to talk about this for 5 minutes. Alright, I'll give you another, let's say,
it's like
I'll give you another 5 minutes.
that's a lot. And there's
2, Alright, how we doing? You're right. I like it. What do you do, Mom? Right here. That's not really a group. So like you said that this is a group will be right? And we have a group of- But explain this one. So there's nothing in that paper that has a circle made up of circles. There is everything. Okay? There are anything else in your room that could be used to create this. Somebody's
Why are they so
to find a pattern that is used to build other patterns. So like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, that's a star.
You guys have 50 seconds left.
You like how we did our circle? You like how we shouldn't have disconnected. I mean, right now they are.
Even like, so, we'll talk about it. Alright, so, have the paper that you guys were looking at in the middle of your table, so that everybody does have access to it. Guys, why are you talking to somebody at a different table? Spin it around, child. Alright, leave these face down so I'm done giving you directions. should be no talking, so this is gonna be a test to see if we can actually work quietly, independently, without talking. Alright, so, you have 3 questions on this paper once you turn it over, not yet. And I want you to use words to explain some of them. Alright, but you can also use numbers. Now, do I want everything answered using numbers? No. Because I want to see your thinking. Because I'll bounce to every table, at least for, I try to get it for a minute or so. You should not be writing. You're listening. So I know that everybody had a conversation with their group members. So you can at least be able to write something, a couple sentences worth, because I heard everybody say at least something, or heard someone say something. So don't be like, I don't know, Miss Penny, I didn't hear nothing. Well, boo boo, yes you did, because I heard it, okay? So, not an excuse. When it says, share your findings with your group members and discuss them, we're not doing that yet. Okay, we're having think time right now, we're getting our thoughts on our paper. So that when we go to the share your findings with your group members and discuss them, which we kind of already have, you have something to contribute though. Does that make sense? And then the last one, it says describe some of your findings and share with your group members, same thing. So if it says share, we're not sharing yet. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys about 5 minutes. If we need a couple extra minutes, I'll give you a couple extra minutes to get your stuff done. When you finish, this is the key thing, so I need everybody to make sure they're I need you to make sure that you are listening. Do not talk. Like, you've got how many warnings today? I've given you ample warnings that I shouldn't even have to have given you yet. Do not talk. Find something to do. Draw on the back of your paper. Do not open your mouth until everybody is done or the timer has gone off. Okay? Alright, go ahead and get started. Alright, so you're gonna take 2 minutes and have just a little bit more conversation about what you just wrote on your paper. Alright, so 2 minutes to just kind of share out your thoughts. If there's anything else that you didn't get to share out because you guys were caught up on something and you saw something later when you were doing this activity. Alright, so 2 minutes, y'all. Go ahead. What do you mean shapes and patterns? I didn't see that. I think it might be. What kind of shapes? What, okay, so I'm intrigued now. What do you mean? So it's like one. So four. So like a group of four.
At least one of them was the worst we had.
Okay, so this is a group of two. Two. Okay, so then what's this one? So it's just made up of. Okay. Okay, so where's this one? So this one. Okay, so do you guys mind sharing out like what you guys like? That's a great deal, but then like sure it's conditions. But like it's really solid outside of block. Yeah. Do we need any more time? Alright, go ahead, put your pencils down. We're done drawing. Okay, listen. So I do apologize that I did not get to every group. I actually got caught up with this group because I was hearing them talking and I saw shapes and circles and I was like, what? I explained. And they did, I think, the most abstract thinking of the groups that I kind of visited prior to your writing. So, can I see your paper? The one with all the shapes. And I'm not going to make them come up here, but I do want to show. But they are going to explain, like, that's okay. They're going to kind of explain what they saw. All right, so whoever wants to explain, go ahead.
Go first.
What I guess we got the.
Originally, we kept seeing shapes and patterns overlap, but then we found that it went like it was in groups of one, all the way to the triangle, and then it's groups of two, and then it goes back to groups of one. A second triangle. That triangle, it goes in groups of two, goes back to groups of one, and then
Two.
I don't know what that one's groups of four, groups of three, groups of two, and then groups of one.
Okay. So do you guys see what they're talking about? So essentially, they are making, like, this is made up of one circle. This is made up of two circles. This is made up of three circles. This is made up of four circles. Rather than this being made up of 5 circles, it's actually made up of, yes ma'am?
Hey, I just want to see your iPads.
My iPads are over here in the, like, around the corner.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So this one they noticed is not a group of 5 because there's no other pattern with a group of 5, right? Like there's no other pattern of, well I guess it's down here, but
Yeah.
they realize it's a group of 1. Okay, and then over here, a group of 2, not a triangle. And then over here is back to your group of 1. So it was just very interesting to hear and like for them to really explain it to me. They did a fantastic job with that. Is there any other group that would like to share kind of what they came up with that's a little bit different than their group? Gonna share? Okay. You want me to look at your circle paper or are you just gonna explain it? I'm sorry, why are we talking?
I can explain it.
Perfect.
Since there's actually 35 visuals totals, but visuals 2 to 6 are used in all the other patterns over 7.
So say that again.
It's like visuals 2 to 6 are used on all the other patterns over 7.
So 2 to 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's 7.
Sorry, 2. Sorry, I can't count. I'm a math teacher. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these right
Those
here.
shapes they're all used in the shapes under. For example, 4 is used in 8 twice.
Okay.
It's used in 16 4 times.
Okay.
And it's used in 4 6 times. And it's used in 32 8 times.
Okay. All right. What about the 3? So the group of 3.
The group of 3, it's in 9, and then 9, and then the 3 groups of 9 are in 27. They're also in the one you pointed out before. Yeah. So
Okay.
the groups just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
All right. Interesting. I like it. All right, Cooper.
So it's kind of like what you said,
Hold on. I'm sorry. There's a tad bit too much like outside noise. Say it. Just be a little bit louder.
I noticed when we were in the middle of like talking for the second time that when I was looking at the thing, it's kind of like what he said. The one digit numbers, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 9, correlate with the ones that like 3, 6, 9, 12, and then like the patterns like that.
Okay, so and I like what you said there. You said that you actually, the second time you got to talk. So do you think that think time was important for you to be able to really like absorb what you guys talked about originally and write it down? So do you guys understand why we had that think time in the middle rather than just saying, okay, we're done talking? Because sometimes you're listening and you're thinking and then you're like, oh, but I heard this and I'm gonna write this down. Yes, ma'am, do you need anything?
I just wanted to show you these forms before I go. If I can interrupt, sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no, you're good. Thank you.
They're all the same, right? I mean, what do you want me to say?
No, we're pretty good. We just have to circle the first one. And then I'll fill this out and then they have to bring this back.
Before they get the other.
Yes, perfect. All right.
And they don't have to take the yellow copy when they get signed.
So
You can
just,
rip it, just the white copy from here.
okay, cool. Awesome.
And then send it all back to the board.
Got it.
Okay.
And then for the ones that aren't getting an iPad, you don't have them yet, they'll just get them when they get them. Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have about a little over 11 minutes. So let's run to the bathroom as a whole class. And then I gotta figure out who has the iPad so I can send these home. Because like I said, not everybody has their iPad yet. So please just line up in the back of the classroom.